Hey, what's up everybody? It's Alex Sigrist, and we've got a great video today that we're going to be looking at because it's totally not xenophobic and or racist or both. I was doing this video with Mike, and the sound just, like, died. So he's going to be in half the video and not the second half of the video. Very sorry for that. I wanted to keep as many of his opinions as I could in the video, but, well, sorry. What's up everybody, it's Alex Sigrist, and today we've got a video for you that is just a piece of shit. What's up everyone, it's Alex, and I'm here with Michael.
What's up folks, how you doing? Long time no see.
Today we're gonna be looking at a video that is basically a very poorly done attempt at saying that foreigners are bad sometimes, maybe.
It's hitting at social commentary. I don't know how well it did it. I don't think it was that well in my personal opinion. I think in his personal opinion, I don't think they did it that well, but anyway.
I mean, let's face it, nowadays, if you see me coming back to YouTube, it's because whatever we're talking about totally sucked. And this is one of those examples. The story of a white man who came to Korea to enjoy. And by the way, in Korea, when you say to enjoy, it means to sex around.
To be a sex pact.
To be a sex pat. Yeah, here we go. Good looking Korean dude though. Is that wrong of me to say?
No, not at all.
Yeah. Okay. I'll call you later.
주인공 재현은 외국인에게 취업 연계를 시켜주는 회사에서 일하고 있습니다.
Oh, I forgot to mention, this is a YouTube video from Jin Yong Jin. I don't know much about him. I think he makes these like short films to tell a point about something.
지현씨? 네? 잠깐 시간 줘. 이번에 미국에서는 헨리랑 동남아에서는 로만이라고 했잖아. 예.
This is important. America and Southeast Asia. I love how he's gonna be a guy who's like very much about how bad these people are, but he starts off with, this is an American and, you know, one of those Southeast Asian countries. He like immediately doesn't even name the country, just a Southeast Asian country.
쟤네들 혹시 너네 집에서 한두 달 정도만 신세 지면 안 될까?
다름 아닌 한두
That's a
달
long
정도
time, by the way. That's a long time to have unknown people staying at your place.
This is not realistic at all. And this is why he's reacting this way, but this...
I'm a nice guy, but I don't know if I can let two unknown people just come live with me for 2 months. Okay, I'm not gonna touch it.
웰컴! 안녕하세요. 안녕하세요, 선생님. 뭐야? 두 분 한국말 할 줄 알아요? 아, 조금밖에 못해요. 조금씩 알아.
나빠 보이지 않는
Also, BS like, just came to Korea for the first time and they can speak that well.
They speak that well. He's like, you can speak Korean? 조금씩. I'm like, when I first came to Korea, bro, all I had was 안녕하세요, 감사합니다. That's all and 네. That's all I had. So I'm just like, okay, y'all pretty good for just coming. Y'all must have looked at a lot of TV or K-pop or something.
인상의 귀여운 한국말. 인도네시아에서 온 로만과
Indonesia, okay.
Okay, so now he's from Indonesia.
미국에서 온 헨리는 재현의 집에 들어오게 됩니다. 나이도 동갑인 외국인 둘에게 재현은 책임감을 느끼게 되는데요.
This is very important because throughout this, he is talking about how much of a great guy this Korean is. And to me, as you watch this, you'll start to realize that he is really just separating Korean men from foreigner men very intentionally. And I think this is the way that he sees himself. I don't want to give it away yet, but as sort of a hero in his own mind. Not the character, but the writer of this.
I hated all of them by the end of this. But anyway, keep going.
우선 로마는 영어 강사 원한다고 해서 내가 넣어보긴 할 텐데 미안한데 조금 힘들 수도 있어요. 아무래도 학부모들이 백인을 선호해서. 괜찮아요. 조금 선생님이라도 돼요.
I had to take a drink on that one.
Terrible writing, but at the same time, this is where I thought this was going. I thought it was going to be a very good demonstration of the differences in the way that white people and specifically Southeast Asians are treated here. And I thought, hey, you know what? This isn't too bad.
You thought wrong. You thought wrong. But, you know, I think the frustrating part is that, you know, this part has some truth to it. This part does have some truth to it, which I don't know too many Southeast Asians who come to Korea and they want to be English teachers. Like, I'm not saying that there aren't any, just because I don't know many. But I do know, and I'm pretty sure you know as well, people who have come to Korea wanted to teach English, and their English was pretty strong, but they weren't from like the colonial states, right? That wasn't from America, Canada. That part frustrates me a little bit. It's like, okay, how am I being told that I'm not going to teach English by somebody who doesn't speak English that well, or it's not their native tongue? I digress.
그럼 내가 급여 괜찮은 공장에도 연락해볼 테니까 로만 너무 걱정하지 말고요.
Okay, let's see if we think the same thing.
There's a visa issue here. You need the visa before you show up, right?
You do.
This guy doesn't know anything about what he's writing about.
You do. Like,
Is that what your thought was?
that wasn't my thought, but now that
Okay.
you mention it, that I do find that very odd. It's just like, it's like you just spin a wheel and be like, all right, which job you gonna get? Which job? Ding, 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 ding. All right, you're gonna be in a factory. Let's see what we can get. My question is there any other job this man can do other than work in a factory? Just because, like, of course he's Southeast Asian. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna find a factory for you.
But again, that could have been a great transition to show the disparity of how they're treated if he kept going that way.
Yeah. Yes.
아 그리고 헨리는 원어민 강사 면접 내일 잡아놨으니까 내일 면접 보고 와요.
와 진짜 재현
로만과 헨리는 인식 때문인지 같은 외국인이어도
So I'm glad he mentioned that. I'm glad he mentioned that.
헨리 무슨 일이야?
재현아 나 원어민 강사 어렵지 않게 붙었어.
오 축하해. 이제 강사님이시네.
근데 같이 온 로만 친구한테 좀 미안해. 나보다 한국말 잘하고 영어를 잘하는데.
그건 어쩔 수 없지 뭐. 나 일하는 중이라 이따가 집에서 봐.
오케이. Bye man.
One thing that's definitely not truthful about this exchange is that at our level or his level of Korean, I was terrified of speaking Korean on the phone.
Oh,
So
heck
just-
yeah.
We would text.
Bro, I'm still afraid of it.
Yeah.
I'm still
Trying to-
terrified.
Trying to order food on the phone. It's just, it's frightening. So
Keep in mind, this is what the day of his interview, right? He's been in the country now for about 3 days. It's like, oh wow, you speak Korean really well. This man is literally having a fluent conversation on the phone. Anyway, okay. Maybe we're being too critical.
this
I don't
one's
know.
unrelated to the theme of it, but we thought we'd throw it in there. Also, I'm gonna say it.
Go say it.
Good looking Korean guy. Good for him. I don't know why I had to say that.
취업하게 되었죠.
생각보다 얘네들 문제는 없네.
Or so you
이로써 둘은
think.
한국에서 근로하는 외국인이 되었습니다.
헨리 티처.
재현, what's up man?
That's how Americans
나
talk.
한국 생활 진짜 너무 좋아. 응?
다들 나한테 잘해주셔?
그 대학 티처들 있잖아. 다 좋고 다 나를 완전 리스펙트해.
Who says that in any language? Yo, man,
They
and
really-
everyone respects me. Like that's not realistic in any language.
No, I feel that what they're hinting at is being too,
He's so arrogant. He's so into himself.
like, even if that is a message, it feels like it's just too in your face at this point, right? Or it's just like,
Yeah.
they all respect me and I just got here. Like, yeah, okay, I get what you're hitting at. I get it, but maybe we can make it a little bit more subtle, kind of lead into it just a little bit.
헨리는 선생님으로서 대접을 받는 듯 했습니다. 한국 생활을 너무 마음에 들어했죠.
로만.
왜?
밥은 먹었어?
아 먹었어.
우리 갔다 가는 사람이랑 같이 먹었어.
오만 한잔 할래? 나 기분이 너무 좋아.
They choose a character. They write him to be like this dude who has no nunchi, no
Right, he has
self-awareness.
Zero nunchi.
He's just like, you're in a bad mood? I'm in a great mood. You want a drink?
Ramon just kind of like, bruh, FML right now, man. And then he's just like, hey, you want a drink? We feel good. Why don't,
God, I might need a drink soon.
bro, if you came in, I'd be like, hey, oh, what's up, man? Like, you okay? Like, how was today? Like,
Yeah.
that's how you would normally talk to a friend who comes in and just like,
Or let's have a drink and you can tell me about your day. You
Yeah.
had a rough- Yeah.
로만 많이 피곤한가 봐.
뭐 어쨌든 재현,
yeah,
나 주말에 클럽 갈 건데 같이 갈래?
클럽? 응? 헨리 그런 거 좋아해?
나 한국에서 꼭 한번 클럽 가보고 싶었어.
There is something weird in there. Like, you wouldn't go to a club in America, but you want to go here? Why could that be?
this scene, by the way, this scene kills
This
me.
scene.
This scene kills me. Please. Oh, let's watch it. Let's watch it.
헨리에게는 이미 한국에서 정착한 질이 안 좋은 친구가 있었는데요.
Yeah, for a complete nerd, yes, nowadays Korean girls. Come on.
Korean girls are crazy about white people. Because we're better looking than Koreans. And we're taller than them.
Then, like, a little bit worried about foreigners.
Never. Korean girls just want to improve their English by dating us.
Really got to improve that English with a thick European accent right there from both of them. Like, this is not a mark on their ability to speak English. That's great. Europeans speak multiple languages. But, like, clearly he did not cast Americans for this role.
Like, I think, again, it's nothing against the actors in this. It's nothing against them, you know.
Well, you speak for yourself.
Okay, it's
Wait
nothing
for it.
them personally, but I think it's just more of like, oh man, if you play a douchey American, nothing against them for not speaking English. as their mother tongue.
No, it's mostly against them for accepting a role like this.
Okay, yeah.
All right, let's just see what they said.
한국에서
You thought it was bad? You gotta watch it again.
친구가 있었는데요.
Yeah, been a complete nerd in the US. Now they're in Korean girls. Come on.
Korean girls are crazy about white people.
Now, we do have that stereotype about other foreigners, which is sometimes we weren't as cool in the States.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not necessarily because you were a dork, but, you know, you come here, you are, quote unquote, different. You're exotic.
Mm-hmm.
And that may make it easier.
Because we're better looking than Koreans.
That's so
And we're
messed
taller
up.
than them.
The best looking guy in this movie is the Korean guy. I'm sorry. I'm straight, and I'm sorry to those guys. I just think that Korean guy is really good looking. I need to stop.
I stand on the subway, and I'm shorter than most of the Korean men on that subway. I don't know what he's talking about with height. Koreans are tall.
This dude's tall.
Okay, these guys are tall. They're tall. But, like, many Korean men are, like, huge as freak.
To be fair, they do look like good-looking guys in that they have characteristics. They look tall. They have hazel eyes, maybe, blonde hair, light-colored hair.
So they look exotic for Koreans. They just look exotic.
Aren't they like a little bit worried about foreigners?
Never. Korean girls just want to improve their English by dating us.
Which is also a big FU to the girlfriends or wives of the foreigners that are here. She's just here to learn English from him. I got a girlfriend. It's insulting.
It's all free. It's free sex.
Come on, all of them?
Not only the girls, the guys as well.
Wait,
that line made me laugh. That line made me laugh.
Was bad writing because I don't think that's what he meant.
No, that line, because I feel like even the way that Henry responded was like, the guys too. Like it's just like, I mean, which is fine. I mean, that is perfectly okay. But
to answer your question about all of them, no, no.
What do you mean with the man as well?
Okay.
Yeah, Korean guys, they want to hang out with me all the time.
Oh, they want to hang out with them all the time.
Yeah. So that's why, when he said that, he was like, what?
Okay.
Spicy.
Even the rappers, they want to go clubbing with me.
You've been so ridiculous. You've been a complete nerd in the US, and here you're talking like that.
Shut up.
That was the best pronounced of all of the English so
Which
far.
one? The shut up one?
Shut up.
You were
Shut
a complete nerd in the US, and now it's funny to hear you talk like that. Yeah, I guess absolute power corrupts. So, corrupts absolutely. So, I guess you're a complete nerd back home, and now you get a little bit of power.
Then you get all the free sex from the girls and the guys who you hang out with.
Including the rappers.
Including the rappers. He went from being loser to hero English teacher.
Zero the hero.
나 오늘 술 약속에 들어있다.
오 진짜?
또 아니는 헨리
Like he just looks at his phone, like he just holds his phone like this. Now, I'm not gonna spoil it.
We can read it. It's stopped on the screen right now.
But like for those who don't, speak Korean.
Meet girl high school students for
Okay.
6 hours, $500.
Okay.
Yeah, you talk. I'm gonna get a beer after this. I wasn't gonna drink tonight.
All right, so while Alex is gone, let me ask you a question. Who in the world does something that illegal and sits there on their phone this proudly like this? For the dude right beside him to see, and the dude right beside, he just looks at him like, just casually, what's he doing? But I get it. It's acting. I personally, if I'm doing something illegal, I'm not gonna hold my phone out this far and be like, you're texting them and just smiling. I'd be like, let me close this and then just text later in my room.
Jin Yong Jin, you made me drink this beer.
He's gonna make a movie about you.
I'm sure there's more there, but in the movie it was so fast that I couldn't even read that. So we're just gonna keep going as if we can't read it.
Yeah.
헨리뿐만이 아니었습니다. 로만 또한 같이 일하는 같은 나라 친구들에게 안 좋은 것들을 배웠죠.
I missed that line. This is important.
헨리뿐만이 아니었습니다. 로만 또한 같이 일하는 같은 나라 친구들에게 안 좋은 것들을 배웠죠.
So that's not exactly what the English says. He says he learned bad things from friends at the factory, but the Korean said bad things from friends from his country at the factory. So other Indonesian people.
Oh, I didn't even hear it.
Yeah, check it out.
로만 또한 같이 일하는 같은 나라 친구들에게
같은 나라 친구들에게.
That's completely different. That's completely different. Learning things from the factory versus
just calling out Indonesians as well.
한 달 후 로만과 헨리는 각자의 월급이 나온 후에 타지에서의 외로움을 풀게 됩니다.
They started to wait. What's that in English?
각자의 월급이 나온 후에 타지에서의 외로움.
They start to relieve their loneliness they feel from being in a foreign country. How would you relieve that loneliness? Some people like to meet friends, maybe shoot some YouTube videos. Some people go get dinner. Some people call their families back at home, but not foreigners.
Not us. No, we do something a little bit more spicier.
Heading for work?
Yeah, today I work. What about you?
Well, I have my day off. Oh, by the way, that's my Korean girlfriend. Sujin, 인사해.
That's my Korean girlfriend.
Hold on.
Hello.
Okay. I just wanted to hear that. Okay, tell me if I'm wrong. Feel free to tell me if I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way she speaks. I mean, I guess Korean people do say hello, like the way she says hello. Like, I don't know, but it feels like it's very a Korean girl or an Asian woman who has no idea what she's into.
Oh, she doesn't realize. Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah,
one.
like she just looks so ignorant in the sense of like she doesn't understand.
This is I can't believe I missed it. This is such an important point that you'll get when you watch the rest of this. But basically, it feels like that is the theme of it, which is the writer is telling Korean girls who don't know how bad foreigners are what they're really like. That's what it feels like, and that's a good point. As you can see right there, that's about where the video sound started to get bad, and then it got worse, and it got worse, and it got worse. I don't know, let's keep going. We're gonna start from this next part of the video, and again, sorry that Mike isn't gonna be a part of it, but that's my fault. Let's keep going.
Wow, you have a girlfriend. How you get her?
Oh, she just came up to me and she gave me that lovely letter jacket, man. Cool, right?
Wait, do you know any, like, Korean girls who just give coats to foreigners because they're white men? Again, this is all part of,
Anyway, I'm not coming home tonight. So I see you tomorrow. Have fun at work, okay?
Okay, once again, this is stupid. Have fun at work, man. The guy writing the script is terrible at it because, one, either he doesn't know how normal people talk or he's really just trying to vilify people in this video. This guy works at a factory. The American is so out of it. He's like, yo, have fun at work, man. I'm gonna go hang out with my girl who bought me this jacket. Which, again, none of this seems any bit realistic. But let's see what the narrator has to say about it.
원어민 강사를 하다가 한국인 여자친구를 사귄 헨리. 로마는 그걸 참 부러워했습니다.
로만, 돈을.
챙겼어. 여기 있어.
There's so much wrong with that. This is, again, one of the points where he could have made a good argument, which was, isn't it weird how easy it is for someone who's white to get a girlfriend and how much harder it is for someone who's from a Southeast Asian country? And you could have been like, oh, why do we treat people differently? We could have a real discussion on this one. But instead, the Indonesian resorts to sex with minors because he's jealous. Not there's other storylines that could happen. No, he resorts to sex with minors. Why does that need to be in here? Really?
헨리와 로마는 올바르지 않은 방향으로 한국 생활을 하고 있었죠. 그리고 재현도 같이 생활한 지 한 달이 지나서야 불편함을 느끼게 되죠.
왔어?
지금 너 집에 있었구나.
안녕하세요.
예, 안녕하세요.
혼자 있는 줄 알았는데 친구 있었네.
미안.
This part's amazing.
쟤는 무슨 여친이 또 바뀌냐? 에휴, 참.
Was that like 7 seconds? And his shirt is off and he's finished with whatever, or maybe he's not finished, but like that was quick. Does this guy never, I don't know.
맨날 새벽에 잠깐 나가달라고 하는 게 몇 번째야. 그리고 네가 여자친구 자꾸 바꿔서 데려오는 것도 좀 그래.
Shut up, man. 너 설마 지금 나한테 질투한 거야?
뭐?
What?
무슨 말이야 그게?
Yeah, of course, I would have the same response because who talks like that? Yo, I got a girl who, are you jealous? Is that why you won't leave while I bang? Is that what it is? I get it that you evil script people and you give them ridiculous lines, but come on.
Look at your face, man. You are ugly. 동양이어서 그래.
What?
헨리.
Come on. Look at your face, man. You're ugly because you're East Asian. Like, I think this guy has a complex. This writer, director, movie maker. Because, like, first of all, I don't think that Koreans are uglier than any particular race. In fact, This guy in the video is the best looking guy in the video. Again, I can't really judge because I'm straight, but like, he looks like a pretty good looking Korean guy. See, I'm getting flustered.
야, 너 그거 지금 인종차별이야.
This would be bad. This would be racist if he actually said this as if this was a real thing. And don't get me wrong, racism does exist, and I'm not saying racism does not exist, but
그래서 지금 착각하는 거야?
착각이 아니야.
I'm not delusional.
너 빼고 다른 한국인 친구들 다 나한테 가인데 진정을 해. 응? 그리고 소리도 되게 이시.
재현은 그런 생각에 충격을 먹었지만 되돌릴 방법이 없었죠.
Yeah, I would have the same reaction as this Korean guy. I was wrong earlier. I didn't mean to say this was completely racist. I actually think a lot of the parts with the American is just pure xenophobia. I kind of agree with the idea that sometimes it's not racism, even though it's different races, when there are social factors in play where one race might hold a higher position in society, that some sort of distrust or hate towards them isn't exactly racism, it's for other reasons. However, that's definitely xenophobia when you're talking about a foreigner coming to Korea. That being said, this is where the racism comes in, the way he wrote this script.
또한 로만조차 정상은 아니었는데요.
And remember, the reason Roman's not normal is because he was jealous of the American having a girlfriend. So rather than, I don't know, rather than any number of potential actions or thoughts or whatever he could have taken, this is what he did. Because, you know, it's just what happens when a foreigner comes to Korea and, well...
야, 로만. 너 씨발 이거 뭐야? 이해를 주노라.
재현은 뭔가 잘못되어도 한참 잘못된 걸 알게 됩니다.
너도 두만이 쌤은 이렇게 안 해.
다음날 삼촌에게 솔직하게 말해보는 재현.
아니, 삼촌, 진짜 이대로 가면 안 돼요.
재현아, 이게 쉽게 안 되는 거 잘 알고 있잖아. 한국 와서 그렇게 농땡이 피다가 튄 애들이 어디 한둘이야?
아니, 얘네들은 한 놈은 맨날 여자나 후리고 다니고 한 놈은 몰카나 찍고.
재현은 이 둘을 합법적으로 한국에서 내쫓을 방법을 생각해냅니다.
I don't really know what's going on at this point. I mean, I know what's going on. I don't know the point or the direction that the writer is going in this one. Is he trying to say, like, if you know bad foreigners getting kicked out of the country? Like, did you need to make a movie about that? Because if I know someone who's that bad, I would probably try to get him arrested too. If they're doing, like, upskirt photos or whatever, yeah, that's not cool.
여긴 한국이니까 한국식으로 하면 되지 않을까요?
What is the Korean way?
아, 예, 경찰서죠. 청소년 성매매랑 몰카로 신고하지 말라고요.
재현은 결국 로만을 성매매 혐의로 신고해버립니다.
사실 외국인이라서 제가 자세한 부분 가서 말씀드릴게요.
I don't know what to say at this point. I feel like this writer, producer dude, I feel like he wrote the main character because in his mind, he's the hero of this story. And in his mind, he's like, I'm going to protect Korean women from the scary foreigners. And I think that's my biggest problem with everything going on right now, is that he sees himself as a protector of Korean women. I'll get into more details later, but basically, it also takes into the assumption that Korean women are too weak to take care of themselves and they need a big, strong man to take care of them. And that's like this image he's put into his own head. I guess which makes sense as why you would make these videos.
결국 로만은 성범죄 건으로 경찰에 잡혀가게 되고 재현은 헨리를 기다리는데요.
헨리, 일로 와, 앉아봐.
Don't want to see your face, man. 말하기 싫다야.
얼마나 밖에 있었던 거야? 그때 내가 미안해.
Don't want to see your face. Again, like, you can tell he didn't get much help from foreigners in writing the script, and definitely not Americans, because this isn't how we talk.
리얼 소리.
근데 어머는?
아, 미안, 말 안 했지. 로만 사정이 생겨서 급하게 이사 갔어.
재현은 헨리에게 술을 먹이며 선 넘는 발언들을 많이 하게 만들죠.
This doesn't make any sense. Jaehyun makes Henry drink and speak his mind. Henry was like a huge asshole before this, and he would say anything about anything. He would talk about his sexual exploits, how he just loves Korean girls and all that stuff. What do you mean he needs a drink? He was sober when he was being a D-bag the entire time, but all of a sudden, the Korean way, like, to save this Korean girl from him, he needs him to drink?
혜리는 만나는 소희를 진심으로 생각하는 거야?
Nah, man, she's just my sex toy.
I know there are people that talk bad about women like that, and I get that. Like, I know that exists, and it's okay to point out in a movie that's trying to shed light on an issue. But we don't say, yo man, she's just my sex toy. That's not American.
그리고 어차피 뭐 한국 사람들은 다 미국인 좋아해.
Hey, this was speak like a total d-bag in this whole thing. I'll say it as the American would say the English line. Besides, all Koreans like Americans, so douche. I can make any Korean girl fall for me. Douche. Like when I was in the States, I didn't sleep with anyone.
I didn't sleep with anyone.
Because I was in the States, because this accent clearly shows I'm German. But in Korea, I have sex every day. Douche. This girl I didn't even know got my number. We slept together that night. Douche.
그거 있었는데 소희 무슨 남자친구라고 했는데.
Wait, what? This guy said he was Soi's boyfriend. Hold up, wait a second. Hold up, we gotta stop here. Because this whole time, American Man is the bad guy, which I agree, of course. If someone is this terrible, they're a terrible human being. And we have to point that out. That's what the point of this movie is, that foreigners can be terrible people. But Sohee had a boyfriend this whole time, and that was not an issue? Are we gonna skip over that?
했는데 무슨 남자가 와가지고 나한테 화난 거야. 근데 아무것도 못해.
He couldn't do anything because he's short and small. Douche.
그리고 다음날 재현은 소희에게 헨리에 대해 알려줍니다.
뭐라는 거야 진짜? 아니 나 진심인데 존나 열받네 진짜.
Hold up. I actually had feelings for him. This really pisses me off. Of course, it should piss you off, but I bet your boyfriend had feelings for you. You know, the one that you're cheating on with Henry. I'm gonna gloss over that. We're gonna skate over that.
아니 진짜 헬리는 착하고 순수한 줄 알았는데 완전 보니까 그냥 걸리고만 그냥.
저도 너무 어이가 없어요. 원어민 강사가 이래도 되는 줄.
원어민 강사요?
네.
아니 저한테 한국에 잠깐 온 모델이라 했는데.
헬리가요?
Oh, and we should just throw that in for good measure that foreigners also lie. Like that's what we do.
당연히 안 지켜졌고 소희는 인터넷 사이트에 폭로했죠. 소식을 들은 한국 사람들은 영어학원 홈페이지 게시글부터 항의 전화까지 개작살이 납니다. 한편 헨리는 아무것도 모르고 수업 중이었는데요.
He's an honest man.
He's an honest man. He's teaching that sentence. And I bet the writer was like, oh my god, this is a brilliant line. If I put that in there, he's an honest man after we found out he's not an honest man. Artistic genius.
야, 헨리!
없는 영화 소수는 제가 쓴 시나리오입니다.
The non-existent movie Minority is a script that I wrote. What does minority mean here? Does this mean minorities like non-Koreans, or does this mean like a minority of foreigners are like this? Because that's really important to find out.
이 세상에 없는 영화죠.
It's a movie that does not exist in the world. Why is that a...
제가 쓴 시나리오입니다. 이 세상에 없는 영화죠. 우리나라에는 외국인이라고 하면 나라별로 인식이 있죠.
Yes, there's a specific perception of different nationalities in Korea. Now, this was the main point, right? That we look at Southeast Asians different from white people, especially from America, right? And perhaps one of the ways we look at them differently is that in a movie that doesn't exist, we give the Southeast Asian the role of the pedophile who has sex with high school girls and takes secret pictures of these girls. Like, yeah, I wonder if this writer of the movie treats us differently. He's like literally showing us.
유럽 사람이라면 멋져하거나 부러워하는 인식.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I think Koreans do treat people like me much better than someone from literally Africa or even a black person from America. 100% true. While we view Southeast Asians as people who get exploited by Korean bosses.
동남아 사람이라면 사장님에게 갑질당하는 불쌍한 이미지
That's true.
또는
Was that
착한 사람들이라는
at all
인식
expressed?
말이죠.
At all in the movie?
또는 착한 사람들이라는 인식 말이죠.
Wait, what?
우리뿐만 아니라
What do you mean we also view them as nice people? Like, what are you about to get to here? These people who are exploited, we might think they're nice, but...
해외에서도 한국 사람들에 대한 인식이 있을 텐데요.
Other countries also have certain perceptions of Koreans. I agree. Lots of racist people in the world, and it sucks. I'm from America. I know this.
좋은 이미지도 있겠지만 몇몇 꼴불견인 소수의 한국 사람들이 한국의 이미지를 망치듯이 우리나라에 오는 외국인들도 다 좋은 사람들이 아닌 나쁜 소수가 존재하지 않을까.
They might view us as good people, but like how a few indecent
꼴불견인 소수의
people
한국 사람들이 한국의
ruin the overall image of
이미지를
Koreans.
망치듯이 우리나라에 오는
The script was written from the idea that
외국인들도 다 좋은 사람들이 아닌 나쁜 소수가
not all foreigners in Korea are good and that a bad minority might exist. So what are you trying to say? Like, hey, you might think foreigners are good, especially the white ones from America, but I want to remind you that some crappy ones do exist. Some terrible people do exist. Is that your point? Or is your point that you might run into a bad person who's a foreigner, but don't forget that there are good people there? Because the way the movie was scripted, there is no redeeming good person who's a foreigner in this movie. You get that, right? You get why this might not accomplish that if that was your objective. Your objective was to make sure that you remind Koreans, specifically Korean women, that don't forget there are bad foreigners out there.
수가 존재하지 않을까 생각하며 출발한 시나리오입니다. 우리는 이런 소수를 어떻게 구분해내야 할까요?
How do we distinguish this minority? Well, if he's that much of a D-bag, you better be able to realize it.
여러분들의 의견을 적어주시면 감사하겠습니다.
If you write down your thoughts, I'll really appreciate it. Are you serious? And now you want people to write their racist opinions in the comments section. All right, so there it is. That's the movie that I thought was either racist, xenophobic, or both. Definitely racist against Southeast Asians, definitely xenophobic against generally foreigners, right? And xenophobic against Southeast Asians. So what was the point of this movie? Like, I don't understand it if you're trying to do a good thing for society, unless your goal was to protect Korean women from the bad guys, the bad foreigners. Because I've seen this script before. Now, maybe it was a documentary 10 years ago on NBC that was about how foreigners give Korean women AIDS. Maybe it's this movie about two terrible human beings that do not exist because the movie does not exist in the real world. It is not a thing, but you're reminding Korean women to watch your back. Be careful, because there are bad foreigners out there. Don't forget that. This is a guy, a Korean. I don't want to say anything that would get me in trouble that is not officially true. But there is a certain conservative group of men in many societies, in America as well, that feel like it is their duty to protect women from the bad foreigners. And I say the bad foreigners, but I generally mean most foreigners, because women are viewed as property. And when women are viewed as property, you spend more time trying to make sure that the bad foreigners don't get to them and spoil them or steal them from your country. So again, this is not a Korea thing. I've seen it in America for sure. This is pretty common. There's a conservative mindset that says we kind of own the women, so we need to make sure to protect them. I'm not here to say that every foreigner is a good person. I mean, that is a correct part of it. But also, I could just go and make a movie about how not every Korean is a good person to make sure that the foreigner girls who come here remember that there are some rapist Korean guys. Like, what if I made a movie about that, where the only good people in the movie were the foreigners, and the two Korean leads were terrible human beings? And at the end of it, I just said, well, okay, there are good Koreans, but I just want to remind you that there are some terrible Korean guys. The men are, there's a couple of them. If I made that movie, that would be messed up. That would be racist and whatever the opposite of xenophobic is, if that's their home country. And I would rightfully be called out for it. But here, when I look through the comments here, I see a lot of comments that are very much like, oh, thank you for making this movie. Thank you, because this is an issue. There are two types of comments. One, thank you for pointing out that there are problems with foreigners. Two, the other comment is, it raises an important point about putting certain people on a pedestal in white cultural hegemony over Asians. Again, I completely agree with you. But if you're gonna do that in your movie, why don't you make the Southeast Asian the good guy? Why did you have to make him a pedophile who has sex with high school girls for pay? Like, why did you have... That doesn't make any sense if your goal was to show that difference. Make him the good guy. Make the white guy the bad guy. I could care less. If that was the point, that's a great topic to discuss and to explore, but you didn't. You said just because he's jealous of the white guy, he resorted to child prostitution. I mean, you proved your own point, and you made the Southeast Asian the person who sleeps with child prostitutes, basically. This is all BS. Oh, and the other thing is, if you go through the comment section, I saw comments that are now deleted. Anything that was negative, deleted, 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 deleted. There is not a negative comment in there. What a surprise. But there's one comment in particular I do want to draw your attention to, because he was in the movie. So Florian has a YouTube channel. I believe he's German, if I'm not mistaken, and you can actually go see it. I'm not doxing him or anything. He's clearly proud of his work here. Thanks to Jin Yong Jin, I got to play the role of Henry. I was a big fan of Jin Yong Jin, even before I came to Korea. That's fine. I don't even know what other stuff he makes. I've seen some of the videos recently, and I get how he's trying to cover some good topics. Anyway, back to this. It was an honor to meet you in person. I was even happier to appear in your work. Of course, the role is the opposite of my personality. He's the good foreigner. Sounds familiar to other generic white foreigners that I've talked about on this channel. You'll see. I usually work as an entertainer or a YouTuber, but I also worked as an actor sometimes. I don't have a lot of experience, but there were a lot of things I could relate to while looking at the scenario, the script, basically. Because I've seen a lot of people like this. When I came to Korea, I saw so many people around me who were nice, but then suddenly they thought they were something else. It's an unfortunate reality. They don't even know any Korean. They walk around like this. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I saw a lot of cases like this, so I couldn't help but sympathize with the script. Just to end it, I do want to point out the white guy who is not an American, but was happy to play the role of an American D-bag. Not because necessarily he was an American, but because there are white people in Korea who continue to want to suck up to Koreans and be like, hey, look how good I am, how much I love Korean culture. I'm not the bad foreigners. I'm not the bad foreigners. And they point out the bad foreigners all the time because it's so important that they're seen as the good foreigners. These guys don't even learn Korean. These guys don't learn Korean. These guys pretend to be nice, but they just want to sleep with women. These people are bad. I'm the good one. I'm the good one. I'm freaking tired of it. But the point being, why do white guys in Korea have this extreme desire to be loved by Koreans and make sure Koreans know that they're not the bad white guys in Korea? Like, why did you have to take this role that is clearly ridiculous and points out that don't forget foreigners are bad people too. Some foreigners are bad, don't forget it. If he saw the script and found out that Roman was a good person and it wasn't about foreigners being bad, it was about racial disparities and how we treat different races and how Koreans treat different races, great, but it wasn't. And his friend actor, who was also definitely an American, was not an American. Both of them were not Americans. The guy he met for coffee or whatever. And anyway, terrible video. What do you think? Write in the comments. If you go to his video and write a negative comment, it'll be deleted, so what's the point? My name's Alex Sigrist. Clearly I'm worked up, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye, 하세요.